Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world joining us today for this session about IEEE Tech4Good, powered by the IEEE Humanitarian Technologies Board. I'm joined today by our Proposal Evaluation Subcommittee Chair, Pia Torres, as well as funded project leaders who've received and carried out Tech4Good projects in the past. I'll start by introducing our moderator for today, Pia Torres. As I mentioned, she's the HTB Proposal Evaluation Subcommittee Chair. Pia is an electronics engineer from Tucumán, Argentina, and she specializes in project management, process optimization, digital transformation, and innovation in industry settings. Currently, she's a senior project manager at Globant, as well as a professor at De Tella University in Buenos Aires. She's a very busy woman. She's a social entrepreneur, a UN SDGs promoter, a diversity and inclusion champion, and a STEM education ambassador. Pia has many years of IEEE experience, both with IEEE HTB and its predecessor, as well as throughout IEEE as an institute. Currently, she's a board member of the IEEE Industry Application Society as its diversity and inclusion chair. And you can see here that she's been the recipient of several awards as well, including the JCI Argentina Outstanding Young Person for Humanitarian and Volunteering Services. She's in the IEEE Young Professionals Hall of Fame, and she's also been the IEEE Women in Engineering Inspiring Member of the Year. Thank you, Pia, for joining us, and thank you to our other presenters as well. My name is Juliana Pichardo, and I'm a staff member at IEEE, and I support IEEE Humanitarian Technologies as well as its board. I'm going to start our session today with some brief context and information about the Tech4Good program, kind of setting the stage, and give an introduction to IEEE Humanitarian Technologies. To go back to the foundation, the beginning of things, a little bit, very briefly, about humanitarian technology and sustainable development. Back in 2015, the United Nations established what are called Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. You will see them referenced throughout this presentation, as a global call to action and a framework to achieve sustainable development. Since that time, entities, organizations, governments, and individuals have been working to accomplish those goals all throughout the world. Now, technology is embedded to each of the 17 goals, and it's crucial to mention that IEEE and its members, its engineers, play a key role in advancing those sustainable development goals. Now, what is humanitarian technology in an IEEE context? Well, we have an official definition here that I will share. It's the programs and activities that focus principally on applying science, engineering, and technology to satisfy what may be unaddressed social needs of specific communities that aren't adequately being served by existing government, commercial, or non-commercial services. And thinking a little bit about what that means, perhaps more specifically, I'd like to talk about the Humanitarian Technologies Consortium within IEEE. Now, IEEE HT, these programs and initiatives here, are really supported and executed by a global network of volunteers and technical professionals that are working together to apply their technical expertise to solve the most pressing problems that we see in the world around us. There's a variety of programs that are addressing these needs in different ways. I won't go into each one of them today for the interest of time, but you can see here on the screen, and I encourage you to look them up afterward as well. We have EPICs in IEEE that are engineering projects and community service designed to involve university students in the engineering design process and give them an opportunity to engage with local community. We have Empower a Billion Lives, which is a competition program for people coming up with lighting solutions. We have IEEE Move, which is based on disaster relief and outreach, mostly in the United States, but also in different locations around the world as well. There's IEEE Smart Village, which has its pillars of entrepreneurship, electricity, and empowers a lot of large projects that are taking place around the globe at a larger scale to get entire communities on grid. We also have the IEEE REACH program, which presents educational materials about electrical and engineering milestones in the past through the lens of history to university and pre-university students. There's IEEE Site, which is a global network of volunteers, more than 50,000 as of the time of this recording, that form groups who are then ready to engage in either projects or other activities in their community to further sustainable development through the use of technology. And finally, we have the IEEE Tech4Good program, the latest one to be added to the consortium. I won't go into the details now since that is what this session is about, but I'll just mention that as a whole, IEEE Humanitarian Technologies and its board provides frameworks, best practices, and the tools to develop and deploy these innovative solutions to advance the Sustainable Development Goals at a global level while achieving social and environmental impact locally. And if you'd like to learn more, you can visit the landing page on the IEEE.org website. Very briefly, I'll look at the vision and mission of the Humanitarian Technologies Board. This is a picture here of our 2024 HTB members, almost all of them. And the board is at the forefront of the consortium of the IEEE Humanitarian Technologies programs with a vision of volunteers around the world carrying out and supporting impactful humanitarian technology activities at the local level. And its mission is to support impactful and ethically informed volunteer-led initiatives, programs, and projects, as well as mutually beneficial partnerships, and inform policy formulation to harness technology and innovation that address societal challenges, including disaster recovery, in a responsive, effective, and sustainable way. And at this point in time, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Pia, who's going to share more specifically about the IEEE Tech4Good program. Thank you.
Thank you, Susanna, for the amazing introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all. I'm glad to have you all here. The idea for this presentation is to inspire you to apply to these Tech4Good programs and carry on amazing projects around the globe. Next one, please. The Tech4Good program offers funding opportunities to support grassroots technological projects that are going to be led by IEEE members with the focus to address local challenges related to sustainable development. We have between 1 to 4 calls for proposals this year, some held in collaboration with other IEEE entities like IEEE societies. The projects must address one or more of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, work with the partner community entity to identify and address a need through the development, customization, or deployment of technology, and also consider environmental, cultural, socioeconomic, and infrastructural issues that could affect the project's impact. The funding amount for this kind of programs is up to $10,000. The project timeline is up to 6 months. The primary applicant has to be an IEEE member. The team should also be connected to the local IEEE entity, most frequently the sections or student branches, because they are going to be the means to obtain the funds for the local community. The teams that will be receiving this funding for a project that has received funding, in the past could apply again if the project has been completed and all the reporting requirements has been fulfilled. We have some categories that we want to impact this year in this call. The focus has to be on people and the needs of the community rather than finding a use for a particular technology. First, we want to identify what is the need for the community and then which is the technology that we can apply to solve that. And the applicants will be selecting one of the following technology impact categories related to the Sustainable Development Goals. The first one is agricultural technology, which is related to the SDG number 2, which is zero hunger. The second one is water sanitation and hygiene technology related to the SDG number 6, which is clean water and sanitation. The third one is clean energy and sustainable power, which is related to the SDG number 7, affordable and clean energy. And last but not least, the fourth one is the information and communications technology and digital connectivity, which is related to the SDG number 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. If the project does not fit in one of these categories, there's another option. However, the application for this call are going to be specific, are going to be prioritized if they are meeting one of these 4 categories. We spoke about the programs under the HTB, and I would like to make a difference between the previous IEEE site that we had some proposals in the past year that we called funding for site, and but nowadays we have this new branding of the Tech4Good program. Basically, the site groups are a global network of volunteers that we have over 50,000 individual members, on which 57% are students or graduate members. We have more than 200 site groups in more than 50 countries. The site members are going to be beneficiaries of educational networking and humanitarian technologies opportunities. Also, the site groups can apply for funding for HTV and other sources, programs like Tech4Good, HTV events, EPICS and IEEE, Empower Billion Lives, etc. Site does not offer funding per project. We are a community of members that are going to be inspired to carry on some humanitarian projects, but it's not a program itself that offers fundings. And the site is managed by the site committee, a subcommittee of the programs committee under the umbrella of the HTB. On the other hand, the Tech4Good program is a grassroots technology grants program, which is going to provide funding for IEEE members to carry on projects that will use technology to serve humanitarian needs and to address the local challenges. We will have between, as I said before, 1 to 4 proposals, a couple of proposals per year. And this Tech4Good program falls under the HTV Best Practices and Process Committee, that is also under the umbrella of the HTV. Next one, please. Here, we want to try to give you the tools to submit a strong Tech4Good proposal. We have currently a call, but we will have several over the year, and we want to share you the best practices for that. Just to let you know, the evaluation criteria that we are applying in order to search and fund the best projects are based on these following criteria. The first one, and the most important, I think, is that it has to benefit the local community and it has to be very well articulated in order to show clear impact metrics targets. The project has to be scoped and defined that will meet the sustainable development requirements through technology. Also, it's very important to have a very strong team. The team competition demonstrates not only technical capacity, but also this needs will to address the local solution. Also, all the kind of potential risks has to be addressed, and it has to be prepared to have a mitigation plan in place. The involvement of the local organization and stakeholders in order to ensure the long-term sustainability of the project. Also, a clear portion for social and environmental impact that will lead to have very strong metrics. And of course, the alignment with the IEEE mission of advancing technology for the benefit of humanity. We would like to share with you which are the best practices here in order to submit a successful proposal. The first one is to show how you are clearly articulating the projects to a sustainable development challenge in the local community. Also, the focus on implementation has to be related to IEEE relevant technology. Demonstrate connection with the IEEE local organization and engage a significant number of IEEE members that should be currently living in the country in order to understand better the local culture, the local needs. Also ensure the team has relevant expertise to execute projects, some project management skills, previous projects. It has to be very actively involved in the local community in order to understand better how the project is going to be designed and executed and also sustainable over the time. And talking about sustainability, it has to be a plan in place that will include educational efforts to ensure that the local community will have the skills to manage the deployed solution after 6 months and maybe also for the future, just to make sure that everything is going to work in the future. And of course, it has to be very clear, articulate with the impact and how it's going to be measured in the future. Next one, please. On the other hand, what we don't want to receive as a proposal is the ones that are primarily focused on research or commercial nature, proposals that are maybe solely focused on STEM education, or they have no direct correlation to the challenge faced by a specific community, or maybe the community is not actively involved. There are other kind of funding for this kind of projects that are focused more on education or STEM education. Projects that have no deployment, customization on any kind of development of technology. We want to use the technology to address the local needs. All the proposals that don't have a clear plan for impact measurement, the ones that they don't have KPIs, they don't have a way to measure if the project was successful or not. Other proposals that they maybe have solely deal with immediate disaster relief. All projects related to disaster preparedness or recovery should focus on the medium, unknown, and long-term needs. And also proposals that are focused on to develop medical devices or medical devices prototypes. This is very challenging because in every country, the guidelines, the local regulations might vary, and we want to fund projects that we are sure that are going to be able to meet and finalize their scope between the 6-month period. So we want to avoid this kind of projects. And some important aspects to have in consideration for these calls of proposals are we have, as I said before, 4 SDGs that we want to address. The first one is related to agricultural technology, also water sanitation and hygiene, clean energy and sustainable power, information and communication technology. We are not going to be using anymore the project assessment matrix. On the other hand, we are going to be asking our applicants to choose one primary indicator of their selected SDG between the 2, 6, 7, or 9, and how they are going to measure the impact of the project. They can also select the secondary SDG, and also if you have other impacts that you want to provide us, is also very welcome. And also there is a guide, a project assessment guide that will be provided for any one of the applicants in order to understand better the guidelines. The idea also for this calls for this year is collecting beneficiary and partner organization entities or information that is going to be used as a pilot to validate information from project's final report and incorporate community feedback and perspective that are going to be very useful for the future in order maybe to create more partnerships in the future years. Some important aspects of these calls are new community demographic questions. We want to determine, for example, the number of women and girls that are going to be expected as beneficiaries. Also to understand which kind of underrepresented or underserved populations we want to benefit. Also, we will ask the applicants about data availability. We have also a consideration about data privacy. We won't request any kind of personally identifiable information, and it shouldn't be provided. We want to respect the data privacy of each of the persons that are going to be involved in the project, but it's good to have these demographic metrics in order to understand how we can address better our beneficiaries. We are going to ask you questions about physical infrastructure and location of the projects. This is very important also to understand the risk that might be involved in the future. And also details about the implementing team, for example, how many participants are females, maybe how many community members are going to be contributing to the project, and also the community organization or entity that is going to be representing the beneficiaries must submit a letter of support where they acknowledge they are one of the projects, the outlines, their involvement, and also state that they are going to be responsible for the solution and the sustainability of the solution after the implementation. Okay, I don't know if you have some questions, but of course, you can address any kind of questions for the call for proposals to our staff members. Also here we have some representatives of leaders from previous projects that for sure are going to be more than open to share their knowledge and their success practices. We also have some resources for our applicants where you can find information that is very important for future calls. For example, the HTV website page, there's a lot of information there about the current cost of proposals, other programs that we have under the umbrella of HTV, and also past projects. Of course, there is a link for the call for proposal where you can understand better which are the guidelines and all the requirements for the calls. There are some questions specifically that will help you in order to submit successful proposals. And we have our online portal with a lot of information. So I will suggest you to read all these portals and links that are very interesting and for sure will be inspiring for you for future projects. As I said before, you can contact the staff team in order to address specific questions at tech4good@ieee.org.